Welcome to my live teaching learning session of BECS 184 Data Analysis. This data analysis paper, I have taken now two sessions. In first session, I have discussed about what is data and how we can analyze the collected data. In this, in first session, you have studied about data analysis and process of data analysis, types of variables, and types of data, that is quantitative data and qualitative data, and the sources of data from which we can collect the data, like primary source of collecting data and secondary source of data collection. In second session, I have discussed with you that what type of statistics you will study in data analysis. You know that there are two types of statistics. One is descriptive statistics and other is inferential statistics. Descriptive statistics is that branch of statistics in which we study about organization of data and summarization of data. Organization of data means when we collect the data from primary or secondary sources, then we must have to arrange it. First of all, we will arrange or classify the collected data. Then we can present it with the help of bar graph, histogram, polygon, frequency curve, time series graph, pie chart, etc. After presenting the data, we can analyze the data with the help of statistical tools. And what type of statistical tools are available? We have available so many types of statistical tools, like one is measures of central tendency. In measures of central tendency, I have told you that in this mean, median, and mode we studied. And second tool is measures of dispersion. We have discussed measures of central tendency in second session or in last session, but in today's session we will discuss about measures of dispersion. This is also the part of organization of data and it's lie in branch of descriptive statistics. So what is measures of dispersion? Dispersion means scatteredness or wideness in between of given data. Dispersion measures how much difference is available in the collected data. There are so many methods from which we can collect dispersion. There are two types of methods. One is absolute measures of dispersion and second is relative measures of dispersion. So measures of dispersion can be classified into two categories. One is absolute measures and second is relative measures. In first measure, that is absolute measure, in which we use one is range. Range tells us the differences between the highest data and the lowest data. When we collect the data, it may be higher and lower. Sometimes we collected data in a lower terms and sometimes we collect data in a higher terms. The difference between highest and lowest is called range. Range is very simplest form of measures of dispersion because it is very easily to calculate. And when you see the data, then you can calculate what is the value of lowest and what is the value of highest. You can take the difference between highest and lowest or largest or smallest. Then you can find out range. It's a very simple formula of calculating dispersion or scatteredness or variability or differences between the data. Second measure is quartile deviation. Quartile deviation, in this we will calculate first of all first quartile, which is represented by Q1, and third quartile, which is presented by Q3. So quartile deviation is the difference between Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. Quartile deviation distribute the whole series in a 4 times. When we distribute the series in a 4 times, that is called quartile deviation. Quartile means n by 4 and median means n by 2. When any series is divided into two parts, that is median. When any series divided into four parts, that is quartile. When any series is divided into 10 parts, that is called decile. And when you can divide the series into 100 parts, that is called percentile. So series can be divided into two parts, which is known as median. Series can be divided into four parts, which is known as quartile. Series can be divided into 10 parts, which is called decile, and series can be divided into 100 parts, that is called percentile. So quartile deviation is a very simple method, and it is generally same formula we can apply, which we apply on median. So quartile deviation, in this quartile deviation, first of all we will estimate Q1, which is first quartile, and after that Q3 we will calculate, and then we will take difference like Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. So this is quartile deviation. Next is mean deviation. Mean deviation is also known as average deviation. What is the meaning of mean? Mean is average. Average can't be called accurate. Average tells us only just the summation of all the observations. If we divide it by the total numbers, then we can calculate average. And average is not much more accurate. Average is generally appropriate or approximate value, but not accurate value. And what is the meaning of deviation? Deviation means the differences. When we take the difference with the mean, that is called mean deviation. We can take deviation in this mean deviation by mean or by median, because mean, median and mode, these all things are under the measures of central tendency. All these measures of central tendency in which mean, median, mode lies. And while calculating mean deviation, we can take the deviation with the help of mean. Either we can take mean or median. And after that, fourth measures of dispersion is standard deviation. This standard deviation is very important statistical tool of measures of dispersion, because it actually measures the variability, or with the help of this standard deviation we can estimate variance, and variance tells us how much our collected data is consistent or reliable, and vice versa. If there is a less variability, then data will be more consistent, answer or result will be more reliable, and if there is a more variability, more variance, then our answer will be less reliable and less consistent. So standard deviation is very important and very much accurate measures of dispersion. These all are like range, quartile deviation, mean deviation, and standard deviation, these all measures are included in absolute measures. And in relative measures, we include coefficient of variation, coefficient of range, coefficient of quartile deviation, and coefficient of mean deviation. Range coefficient is called coefficient of range. And coefficient of range can be estimated by using the formula like largest minus smallest divided by largest plus smallest, or highest minus lowest upon highest plus lowest. This is called coefficient of range. And if we want to calculate coefficient of quartile deviation, its formula is Q3 minus Q1 upon Q3 plus Q1. It means under quartile deviation, we take the difference of Q3 minus Q1 and divided by 2. But if we want to calculate coefficient of quartile deviation, then we will take the differences of Q3 minus Q1 mm, in upper, and lower side we will take Q3 plus Q1. So denominator and numerator. In this Q3 minus Q1 upon Q3 plus Q1, then we can estimate coefficient of quartile deviation. Third is coefficient of mean deviation. Coefficient of mean deviation is calculated while calculating the mean deviation. If mean deviation is calculated by taking the deviation from average, then we will divide mean deviation upon average or x bar. Then coefficient of mean deviation can be estimated. And if deviations are taken by median, then mean deviation coefficient will be estimated by dividing mean deviation value to by mean median. So mean deviation divided by x bar is called coefficient of mean deviation, and if mean deviation answer is divided by median, that is also called coefficient of mean deviation. And standard deviation coefficient is coefficient of variance. Coefficient of variance can be estimated by using this value of standard deviation divided by x bar or mean and multiply by 100. And we can say that variance is the square of standard deviation. Variance is the square of standard deviation. It means whatever value is estimated with the help of this standard deviation, if we square that value, then we can estimate variance. So all these things are included in measures of dispersion, which is classified into two parts. One is absolute measures and other is relative measures. In absolute measures, there are four measures. One is range, second is quartile deviation, third is mean deviation, fourth is standard deviation. And relative measures, in this we will find out the coefficient of range, coefficient of quartile deviation, coefficient of mean deviation, and coefficient of variance. Next is types of measures of dispersion. Measures of dispersion has four types. One is range, second is mean deviation, third is variance, and fourth is standard deviation, and next is quartile deviation. So these are the types of measures of dispersion. And if we are not estimating coefficient, that will be called absolute measures of dispersion. Absolute measures of dispersions are those measures which only estimate the value of range, mean deviation, standard deviation, or variance, but not, we can't compare it. We can't compare it with the help of other values. So if we want to compare it with other variables, then we must have to find out the coefficient. And coefficient is the uh, relative measures of dispersion. So if we find out the coefficient of range, coefficient of mean deviation, coefficient of standard deviation, coefficient of quartile deviation, that is calculating the comparatively study of measures of dispersion. So relative measures always tells us the comparatively study of measures of dispersion, but absolute measures of dispersion can't tell us the comparison between the collected data. So these are the types of measures of dispersion. Now what is quartile deviation? Quartile deviation, the particular definition of this quartile deviation is it is the second measure of dispersion after range, because range is very simple method in which we take only the highest value and the lowest value and take the difference between this highest and lowest, and then we can find out the range. And if we want to find out the coefficient of range, then we will take h minus L upon h plus L. But quartile deviation is the second measure of dispersion. No doubt, it's an improved version over the range. It is based on the quartiles. So while calculating this quartile deviation, we may require upper quartile. Upper quartile is known as Q3, and the lower quartile, which is known as Q1, and then it is divided by 2. Hence, it is half of the difference between two quartiles. It is also a semi-interquartile range. So the formula of quartile deviation is Q3, which is known as upper quartile, and Q1, which is known as lower quartile. So we can take the difference like Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. So this is quartile deviation, which is the very improved version of measures of dispersion over the range. And it is based on two quartiles, which is upper and lower. Upper is denoted by Q3 and lower is denoted by Q1. And if we take the difference of Q3 and Q1 and divided by 2, then we can calculate quartile deviation. Next is mean deviation. How we can estimate this mean deviation? Mean deviation is also known as average deviation. So mean deviation takes into consideration all of the values. Mean deviation means the arithmetic mean of the absolute value of the deviations from the arithmetic mean. If we take the deviation from mean, this is called mean deviation. But we can take the deviation either from mean or from median. Doesn't matter. We can take the deviation either from mean means average, and we can take the difference from or deviation from median. Answer will remain same. So mean deviation, the deviation can be estimated by taking arithmetic mean. So here the formula of calculating mean deviation is sigma. Sigma is called summation. Here we put the value x minus x bar in between of mode. What is the meaning of this mode? Here the mode meaning is when we put any value in mode, it means we are ignoring plus and minus sign. We are taking all the values in a positive manner. If we are taking all the values in a positive way and we are not differentiating between minus and plus values, that is called mean deviation, or that is called mode. That's why it has a one drawback of this mean deviation. Generally mean deviation is based on mean and all the observations, so it is good. But one drawback while calculating mean deviation is here we are putting mode, like sigma in mode x minus x bar divided by numbers. But this mode is taking all values in a positive way. It means mathematically, if we ignore plus sign and minus sign and all the minus values we are considering in positive values, mathematically it is wrong. That's why mean deviation has one greater drawback of this thing, that it is ignoring all the minus values and taking all values in a positive way. That is the big drawback of this mean deviation. That's why mean deviation is not a very good measure of dispersion. But if any numerical come from this topic that calculate mean deviation, you must have to know about how to calculate mean deviation and why it is not good measure of dispersion, because it is ignoring the value of minus and positive. All values are taking in a positive way by putting this mode, and here x is the numbers or values or variable, and x bar is mean or average, which is calculated by taking the summation of all the observations and divided by the total numbers. Then we can estimate x bar. So if we put x minus x bar into mode and divided by n, that is called mean deviation. This deviation we can take from median also. Then formula will be sigma x minus median, put in mode x minus median, we will put it into mode divided by n. So this is the formula of mean deviation. Next is variance. What is variance and how we can estimate it? The variance is a measure of dispersion. Variance is very good measure of dispersion because it tells us how much variability or differences among the collected data, and it will tell us which type of measure is good, and how much consistency exists in the collected value. So variance is a measure of dispersion of values based on their deviations from the mean. And you know that measures of central tendency, in which we find out mean, median, and mode. And in mean, median, mode, average or mean is the good measure of central tendency. Why? Because mean is based on all the observations, but median is divided series into two parts. In first category we take the lower data, in second category we take the higher data, and in between of this we take and we can find out the median value. Median value is the mid value of the arranged data. Arrangement can be done in ascending order or in descending order. So median is not the good measure of central tendency because it divided series into two parts, and we don't take all the observations in median. We ignore highest and lowest values, and we take only the mid value as a median. Mode is also not a good measure of central tendency because in mode we take only the highest frequent value or the frequency of any data which is higher or which comes repeatedly, that is called mode. So mean is the best measure of central tendency, and variance is based on their deviation from the mean. So the variance is defined to be square of standard deviation. So square of standard deviation, we can write this type of symbol, standard deviation square is equals to sigma. Sigma is the summation, and in bracket x minus mean, this mu is known as mean, x minus mu or mean whole square divided by n for a population. And the same formula we can apply, standard deviation square sigma x minus x bar whole square divided by numbers for a sample, because sample is a part of population and population is a whole numbers. Population is a larger part of the collected data, and sample is the smaller portion of the whole population. If we take some data from 100 population, like 20, that is called sample. And if we add remaining 80 in 20, that will be called population. So both are interrelated with each other. So variance is generally the square of standard deviation. Next is how we can calculate mean deviation. If we have given data like this, 4, 7, 7, 9, 9, 9, 10, 12, 15, 18. First of all, we will estimate mean or median, because mean deviation can be find out with the help of mean or with the help of median. So you can take the differences, um, either it may be mean or median value. How you can calculate mean? Mean is the summation of all the numbers, like 4 plus 7 plus 7 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 10 plus 12 plus 15 plus 18 divided by n. N is total numbers. Here the total numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. It means summation of x bar is equals to sigma x upon n. Sigma x is 100 and n is 10, then mean will be 10. And if we take the deviation from mean, then we will put mode d or in mode x minus x bar. Here the given digit is 7, 4, 10, 9, 15, 12, 7, 9, 9, 18. Okay. So x minus x bar is, it means 7 minus 10. So 7 minus 10, it should be minus 3. But we have put x minus x bar into mode. That's why the value comes in positive manner. So plus 3, and 4 minus 10 is equals to 6, minus 6, but it is only 6. 10 minus 10 is 0, 9 minus 10 is minus 1, but we have written all values in a positive way. That is the big drawback of this mean deviation. And if we take the deviation from median, then how we will calculate median? Median is, you know that, first of all, while calculating median, we will arrange the data, either it may be ascending order or it may be in descending order. Ascending order means lower to upper, and descending order means highest to lowest or upper to lower. So here the highest number is 18 and lowest number is 4, and 4, 7, 7, 9, 9, 9, 10, 12, 15 and 18. How much number is here? Here number is median. Median means n plus 1 by 2. So n plus n means numbers. Numbers is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. 11 divided by 2 means 5.5. It means 5.5 means, again you will take fifth number data plus sixth number data and divided by 2. And now here fifth number data is 9 and the sixth number data is also 9. So 9 plus 9 divided by 2 means 18 by 2. Then the median will be 9. So we can take the deviation from median also. Put x minus median in mode. Then 7 minus 9 is minus 2, but we will take positive 2. And 4 minus 9 is minus 5, but we will write here 5 only, because all values are calculating in a mode. So all values will come in a positive way. And then we can take the total value of x minus median mode, and x minus x bar in mode is 30 and x minus median in mode is 28. So mean deviation from mean is sigma mod d upon n. 30 by 10 is equals to 3. And if we want to estimate coefficient of mean deviation from mean, then mean deviation about mean upon x bar means 3 divided by 10 is equals to 0.3. And if we take mean deviation from median, then the total x minus median or mod dm is equals to 28. And 28 divided by n, numbers are 10. 28 divided by 10 means 2.8. And if we want to calculate mean deviation, coefficient of mean deviation by median, then we will take the answer of mean deviation from median divided by median. So mean deviation about median is 2.8 and the median is 9. So answer will be 0.311. So in this way, we can find out mean deviation from mean and from median and coefficient of mean deviation by mean or by median. Next is standard deviation. How we can calculate standard deviation? Standard deviation is also very simple method. Some standard deviation is based on mean value or average. So standard deviation is a very good measure of dispersion because it is based on mean and it does not ignore all the signs like plus and minus sign. Don't ignore it. That's why this standard deviation is a very good measure of dispersion. So first of all, we have given like data is 1, 3, 8, 3, 7, 11, 8, 3, 9, 10. This is the given data. First of all, we will calculate mean. How we can calculate mean? Mean is if we add all these numbers like 1 plus 3 plus 8 plus 3 plus 7 plus 11 plus 8 plus 3 plus 9 plus 10 divided by total numbers, and total numbers like total numbers are 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. So first of all, we will find out mean. Then we will take deviations like x minus x bar and x. For example, mean is 6.3 and the data is given 138. First of all, we will minus 1 minus 6.3 is minus 5.3. 3 minus 6.3 is minus 3.3. 8 minus 6.3 is 1.7 and 3 minus 6.3 is minus 3.3. So from this form, from this method, we can estimate the deviations through mean x minus x bar. Then we will take the square of these values like x minus x bar whole square of this minus 5.3 into minus 5.3, then all values will come in positive way because we are taking square of all the deviations which is calculated by mean. So x minus x bar, if we take the square of this, then all values will be in positive way. And then you can take the summation of x minus x bar whole square, that is 110.1. So standard deviation we can estimate in this form under root sigma x minus x bar whole square divided by n. Here x minus x bar whole square is 110.1 divided by numbers is 10. So we can find out the answer is 3.5. First of all, we will divide it 110.1 divided by numbers, and after that we will take under root of that value. Then it will be called standard deviation, which is after calculating under root. 3.5 is the standard deviation, and the variance is square of standard deviation. Variance calculation equals standard deviation squared. So standard deviation squared is, we can take the square of 3.5, it means 3.5 into 3.5, or you can take sigma x minus x bar whole square divided by n minus 1 or n, but not in under root, because if we are calculating variance, then we will not put this formula in under root. But if we are estimating standard deviation, then the x minus x bar summation of this upon n will be in under root. So this is the method of calculating standard deviation. Next is skewness. Skewness is also the next measure of dispersion. So skewness is a measure of symmetry. It tells us about how much lack of symmetry exists. because if there is a equal distribution, then it will be called normal distribution. If data is equally distributed or normally distributed, that will be called normal distribution of a frequency. But if the distribution has a lack of symmetry or equality, that is called skewness. Skewness is a measure of symmetry, or more precisely, the lack of symmetry. A distribution or data set is symmetric if it looks the same to the left and right of the center point. And kurtosis is also another measure of while calculating normal distribution, कि either the frequency distribution is normal or in other form. Kurtosis is a measure of whether the data are heavy tailed or light tailed relative to a normal distribution. We can show skewness and kurtosis with the help of diagrams, and we can use formula also for estimating the value of skewness and kurtosis. So skewness tells us that the lack of symmetry or unequal distribution of the collected data. So skewness has two types. One is positive and other is negative. Skewness may be positive, may be negative. If frequency distribution is equal, that is called normal distribution of frequency curve. And if distribution is unequal, that is called skewness. And skewness tells us how much lack of symmetry exists in the distribution of data set. So here, if a diagram is, if the diagram uh, peak point is on x-axis, and if the slope of this curve lies to right hand side more, that is called positive skewness. And if the diagram slope is more towards x-axis or origin, if the slope of this skewness curve lies towards on origin, that will be called negative skewness. And if the slope of this skewness lies towards on x-axis, that will be called positive skewness. So the diagram slope tells us the skewness is positive or negative. And the kurtosis may be positive kurtosis, normal distribution, negative kurtosis. Here we are taking three curves. First curve is a very lower normal distribution curve or bell shaped curve. Another curve is normal distribution curve, which lies in between of upper and lower. And third curve is positive kurtosis, which is the higher or above all these two curves. So it tells us how much peaked or peakedness of the data. Through peakedness, we can explain kurtosis. And it has three types: mesocurtive, platocurtive, and lactocurtive. So these are two things like skewness and kurtosis. This also exists while estimating descriptive statistics or defining this descriptive statistics. These are the tools of calculating skewness, how much lack of symmetry exists in the collected data, and kurtosis tells us heavy-tailed or light-tailed relative to a normal distribution. Next is skewness. Skewness may be positive, may be negative. If the slope of this curve lies towards x-axis and uh, it is going towards on x-axis, that is called positive skewness. And if the slope of this curve towards on x-axis, that will be called negatively skewed distribution. And kurtosis in this three types of curve has drawn. One is higher peaked curve, second is normal curve, third is lower peaked curve. So these three curves are called The higher peaked curve is positive kurtosis. The middle normal distribution curve is called normal distribution, and third, which is the lower normal distribution curve, is negative kurtosis. This is the difference between skewness and kurtosis. Next is skewness may be positive, may be zero, may be negative. If the distribution is normal, it means there is no difference between the value of mean, median, and mode. If all the values like mean, median, and mode are equal, that is called zero skewness or normal distribution. And if the curve slope goes towards x-axis, that is called positive skewness. And if the curve slopes goes to origin, that will be called negative skewness. So skewness has three types. One is zero skewness. It exists in case of normally distribution curve, and normal distribution curve tells us the equal value of mean, median, and mode, and all the measures of center tendency values are same in case of zero skewness. And here the distribution of data is equal. There is no lack of symmetry. There is equal distribution. And distribution may be positive, distribution may be negative, and distribution may be zero in case of normal distribution. And kurtosis has three types. One is platokurtic, next is mesokurtic, and third is leptokurtic. If the value is less than 3, if kurtosis value is less than 3, that is called platokurtic. If kurtosis value is equals to 3, that will be called mesokurtic. And if kurtosis value will be greater than 3, then it will be called leptokurtic. So it can be estimated with the help of this 3 value, and it may be less than 3, equals to 3, and more than 3. And all these things presented different types of kurtosis. Less than 3 shows platokurtic stage, equals to 3 shows mesokurtic stage, and greater than 3 shows leptokurtic stage of kurtosis. The value is, if the value lies in between of 0 and 0.5, that is called low skewness value. It may be positive or may be negative. And if the value lies in between of 0.5 to 1, that is called moderate skewness. And if the value lies greater than 1 or minus 1, that is called high skewness. So skewness may be higher, skewness may be lower. It depends upon the value which you find out from the using formula of skewness, which I will tell you in next slide. And low skewness value always lies in between of this range 0 to 0.5, and moderate skewness lies in between of 0.5 to 1, and high skewness value lies in more than 1 or more than minus 1. So this is the interpretation of skewness, depends upon the value which lies in between of different ranges. Next is Carl Pearson tells us the formula of calculating coefficient of skewness. Carl Pearson is a great statistician who gives who gave the formula of calculation of correlation and skewness also. So known as Pearson coefficient of skewness, it is based upon the difference between mean and mode, and difference is divided by standard deviation to give a relative measure, like skewness is equals to mean minus mode upon standard deviation. It's a very simple formula which is presented by Carl Pearson. We can find out skewness with the help of using this formula. First of all, we have to find out mean. After that, we have to find out median. And next is standard deviation. Then put the value of mean minus mode divided by standard deviation. Then we can find out skewness by Pearson's method. Next is Bowley's coefficient of skewness. Skewness can be estimated by using Bowley's method. Bowley developed a measure of skewness which is based on quartile values, the formula for measuring skewness is Q3 minus Q2. Here Q3 is upper quartile, Q2 is median, and Q1 is lower quartile. Here we are using quartiles and median. So Q3 minus Q2 in bracket, then minus Q2 minus Q1 in bracket, divided by Q3 minus Q1, that is the difference between third quartile minus first quartile. So Bowley's coefficient of skewness is totally based on quartiles. It may be third quartile, first quartile, and second quartile. Second quartile is known as median. Here we have not used standard deviation, and we have not used mean. So this formula is totally different from Carl Pearson's formula. In Carl Pearson's coefficient of skewness, we have taken mean minus mode divided by standard deviation. But in Bowley's coefficient of skewness, we have taken Q3 minus Q2, again Q minus Q2 minus Q1 divided by Q3 minus Q1. So this is a very simple formula of estimation of skewness. Next, the definitions which we have done. Now the measures of dispersion. Here is the summary of all these definitions which we have studied in today's session. The measures of dispersion shows how the data is spread or scattered around the mean. And the measure of location or central tendency is a central value that the data values group around. It gives an average value. The measures of skewness is tells us how symmetrical or not the distribution of data value is. So if we want to find out how much symmetry or how much equality lies in the data set, then we will have to find out skewness. So measure of skewness is tells us how symmetrical or not the distribution of data value is. Next is descriptive statistics is generally tells us about two things. One is organization of data, in which we use statistical tools like collection of data, then classify the data, then presenting the data, then analyze the data with the help of measure of central tendency, measure of dispersions, skewness, kurtosis, correlation, etc. And after that, summarize it. Summarizing or simplifying the data, it will become useful for comprehending the data and thus making meaningful interpretation, particularly in medium to large data set. And it describes the data useful for recognizing importance, characteristics of data, and used in inferential statistics also. So descriptive statistics simplify the summarized data and describe all the available data in a useful terms, and it also used in inferential statistics. Next is Z-test. Z-test you can do with the help of Excel. First of all, while you want to find out Z-test, you have to open your Excel sheet. Then you will go to forecast. Here forecast, you will find out this thing, data analysis. And then when you open this data analysis, then so many analysis tools will come in front of you, like histogram, moving average, random number generation, rank and percentile, regression, sampling, t-test, pair two sample for means, t-test, two sample assuming equal variances, t-test, two sample assuming unequal variances, and z-test, two sample for means. Then you can choose how from how formula which you are using to calculate z-test. You can select that thing, and after that you can do OK, press OK, and that will open. Then again what you will do like this. Then z score, if you want to find out with the help of this formula, The formula is x minus mean upon standard deviation. First of all, we will put the collected data in Excel sheet, like student's name and marks, whatever we have collected. Then we will put it in second row, like in B column, 465, 477, 566, 505, 596, 459, 524, 460, 454, 490. Put it. Then you can find out mean. How you can find out mean? To add all these collected data and divided by the total numbers, mean will be estimated. And then standard deviation we can find out. Same formula, in under root x minus sigma x minus x bar whole square divided by n. So here x is, if you have given the value of x is b 465, it means 4 is Daniel Smith, B4 means in column B, and the serial number is 4, so x is 465 and mean is B in column B, $15, or $15 means 15 numbers is 499.6, and standard deviation is in 16 number, serial number is 16, standard deviation is 46.28434. So this from this Excel sheet, and by using data analysis tools, we can find out Z score by applying this formula like this. The calculation of Z score by using this formula, here x is the given value and mu is mean upon divided by standard deviation. So Z score can be estimated by using this formula, x minus mean upon standard deviation. This mean is represented by mu or in form of u. Next is, this is the normal distribution curve. This normal distribution curve tells us how much symmetrical distribution it is. When distribution is normal, then curve shape will be a bell-shaped curve, which divided this diagram into two equal parts, and in right hand side we will take positive values, in left hand side we will take negative values, and the value of z lies in between of 0 to 3, like at the peak of this curve z will be equals to 0, and at the right hand side z will be equals to 1 at the upper hand side, and at the middle z will be plus 2, and at the lower z will be plus 3. Same as on the left hand side z will be minus 1 at the upper hand side, and in the middle stage z will be minus 2, and at the lower z will be minus 3. And the value of this normal distribution lies same as right hand side and left hand side proportion, because both proportion is equal, 50% 50%, and we can divide 50% in a positive way and in a negative way. First of all, 34%, first area is known as 34%, after that 13.5%, then 2.35%, then 0.15% in a positive sense, in a positive z scores. And same as in a negative z scores, value will remain same, but it will be in a negative terms, like 34%, 13.5%, 2.35%, and 0.15%. And here the x bar minus 3s, x bar minus 2s, x bar minus s, and the center value is x bar. And in a right hand side, x bar plus s, x bar plus 2s, s bar plus 3s. So z score is lie in between of 0 and 3 in a positive or in a negative way. So if x is greater than x bar, then z will be positive, and if x is less than x bar, then z will be negative. So this is the normal distribution curve, and z score we can find out in by using this diagram also. Next is other location measures. Other location measures are percentile and quartile. Percentile tells us the division of series into 100 parts. So percentage are less than or equals to this value, 100 minus p. Percentage are greater than or equal to this value. It means where 0 less than equals to p less than equals to 100. Percentile generally divide the series into 100 times or 100 parts, and quartile divide the series into 4 parts. Quartile may be first quartile, quartile may be second quartile, or maybe third. First quartile is equals to 25 percentile, and second quartile is equals to 50 percentile, and which is known as median, and third quartile is known as 75th percentile. Next is review of this percentile. Percentile is the pth percentile is a value such that p% of the observation fall below or at that level. Quartiles are generally two. One is Q1 and other is Q3. And Q2 is called median. So Q1 divide the series into 4 parts, and Q1 divide the series into 4 parts, Q2 divide the series into 2 parts, and Q3 divide the series into 3 parts. So Q3 and in terms of percentile, Q1 is 25th percentile, Q2 is 50th percentile, and Q3 is 75th percentile. And interquartile range can be estimated by using this Q3, the difference of Q3 minus Q1. So interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1, quartile deviation is Q3 minus Q1 upon 2, and Q1, we can find out? N plus 1 by 4, and Q2 n plus 1 by 2, and Q3 n plus 1, 3n plus 1 by 4, and percentile n plus 1 by 100. And data and information. What is data? Data is any collection of numbers, characters, or any other symbols that has been coded into a format that can be input into a computer and proceed. Data generally it has no meaning or context, but if we use this data in form of calculating mean, median, or measures of dispersion methods, then it will be more useful. So it is only after proceeding by a computer that data takes on a context and become informations. Data is more informative when we know about how to use the data. Otherwise, data is useless. Data is nothing. First of all, we will collect raw data, then clean raw data, remove missing values, remove outliers, record values, then summarize the data. It means summarization can be possible by using measures of center tendency like mean, median, mode, measures of dispersion like standard deviation, frequency table, etc. Then visualize the data, explore box plots. We can visualize, we can show the collected data in form of diagrams like box plots, scattered plots, bar chart, and other charts, and then use data to build models. Next is, what is statistical software? Statistical software is that software from which we can use our collected data in a computer and find the value of whatever we have want to find out with the help of statistical and tools. So statistical software are programs which are used for the statistical analysis of the collection, organization, analysis, interpretation, and presentation of data. So business statistics also help business managers measure the performance of the workers as well as improve the products and services produced. And it also helps the managers to forecast as well as to make correct predictions about what could occur to the industry in future. So statistical software, it helps users with predictive analytics, data management, business intelligence, and multivariate analysis. System SAS is software system for data analysis and report writing. It can store the data value, retrieve them, modify data, compute simple statistics, and create reports in one SAS session. Next is basic features of this SPSS. SPSS is statistical product and service solution. It's a software to analyze the data. It is very easy to learn of basics of data entry, editing, and how to perform basic statistical analysis. And after you learn the basics, you can explore a wide range of techniques on your own or with the help of options. So SPSS can easily import a wide variety of files. Conclusion. Now, today's session you have studied about what is descriptive statistics and how measures of dispersion helps to summarize the data. So, statistics is a study of knowledge which deals with different methods of collection, classification, presentation, analysis, and interpretation of data. And statistical application is very important in the field of research. Thank you.